I do,
try
don't
to
I?
breathe through your nose.
Well, sometimes we sound a little nasally, and it's not, I mean, it shouldn't be that big a deal. Hello and welcome to Skokie Country Club here in beautiful, historic Glencoe, Illinois. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yes.
Glencoe, Illinois? All right. It doesn't sound right. It's not the way it's spelled.
E is silent, yes.
Yeah, okay, got it. The E is silent. Perfect. And we have a Series 3 match here for you tonight on the live stream, the CPTC network. Skokie Country Club represented on the far side right now by Paget Neve in the gray hat. He's the director here. He's in the urban camo on the far side. And he's blending in quite well, I have to say. You can barely see that guy.
Smooth guy.
In the white sweatshirt is Bruce McKinnon, and former captain of this team. Although I don't know if he's captaining this year. I probably should. Cal, look that up.
Again, they can't get his agent on the phone, Coach. So
No, it's fine. He's generally unavailable. They are playing against a Northmoor Series 3 team. This is Jeremy Edelson here, closest to camera, in the navy hat and black long sleeve. And then on the other side is Rich Lund in the white hat, warming up here on the deuce side. Sean, I know you don't know any of these guys, but what do you think so far? You got any match predictions just after seeing everybody hit a serve at 4 miles an hour?
You got to give. I mean, and I mean this sincerely. Okay.
Okay.
If I can say
this is real paddle commentary now.
Skokie the nod because of the home court and Paget Neve because, I mean, may I say it? He's kind of, and Paget is a force. Like when he's playing well, it's more like, I'm not saying get out of the way, but he can play well enough where he can kind of almost take over.
He can kind of own a court. Yep,
exactly.
That's true. I think it's because he's on steroids, and he shouldn't be allowed to win this match unless he can provide clean urine.
These aren't the ones apparently that are illegal though. So
no, it's definitely,
so he's allowed. He's very.
It's a technicality for him to have to, provide
bright.
a clean test, but otherwise, I mean, it's still out there. It should be known. It's in the ether. It's floating around all over Chicago
and yet he
paddle.
Doesn't look any heavier.
No, he never gains weight. It's uncomfortable, actually.
It's impressive.
It's why he doesn't have any friends. Is it evident to the stream that Paget and I worked together for 5 years? Do you think that's clear, or should I reiterate it a couple more times?
There's a reality show. Right there.
And then I've had the opportunity to play both Rich and Jeremy a number of times, and they also can be a threat. They can definitely go into the no-miss mode. They both have solid forehands. Jeremy has a little screen drive that he pulls out occasionally that's tough to read.
Probably pretty good two-hander too, because I played him in tennis. Have never had the pleasure on paddle.
Yeah, for sure. So they are a threat. It's not. It's too soon to call.
Sure.
And then Bruce, obviously, over on the far side, might be a player who makes the least amount of errors in the history of the game.
Now, him I've hit with, and he is very steady, Coach. You're absolutely right. And as I say that, he misses a serve.
Doesn't make mistakes. Well, I think that's the commentator curse that we've been dealing with the entire time. So whenever you bring it up, the opposite will happen. It is a guarantee.
Absolutely.
And Cal Noble running the sound effects on the far side. Go ahead, Cal. I know you want to. Yeah, thanks, Cal.
Right.
That's excellent. All right, so this is the last week of us calling scores out loud for the matches because the app is in the works so that we can get something going on the actual dedicated score system.
Now, where's the fun in that?
Here on the network. No, I agree. It gives us something to do. I certainly appreciate that. It's one of the ways
shotgun mic will take care of everything, Coach. Don't.
Well-placed shotgun mic.
What a laugher that is. I mean, I've tried a couple different places. You did say we should probably come in from the corner, though.
It might be the way to go. Maybe we'll catch a little more of the player audio and a little less of the screen rumble. But let's be honest, there's not any way to totally diminish the sound of a screen if you got a microphone outside.
Exactly. But it's working. I might get. I get points for that. Not very many, but no pun intended, huh? Thanks so much. Where's that
well done. Cal asleep at the switch on the rim shot.
Fine.
It's no problem.
Thank you. Is there a social? There's probably a social minute first, which is what we like to do. I like it that we've really started to experiment with the options we have on the stream as well.
It's a good thing this is a soft launch right here, because if this was super serious,
that way, Coach,
or if anyone was watching, we would really have serious problems. All right.
Our goal is tens of people, yes.
Tens
As
of
you've
people.
mentioned.
That's the way to roll. All right. Well, they've obviously spun a paddle or flipped a coin or had a knife fight in order to decide who's taking the serve. Clearly, Skokie is.
Just pocket
And
knives.
Paget is serving first, which is never a good situation because Bruce is the one who holds serve. So,
Does he?
love all. Let's see what we get here.
That was a nice drive. Look at this.
Paget going early tweener to start off and slipping through the
This is going
snowboard.
to be an entertaining match. And the switch, that was smooth.
Yep, working the switch in the backcourt. They're going to try hard to set up Paget's backhand. He's got a big two-hander. And they're basically just going to wait for somebody to get impatient and try to pound a ball to the corner when he's set up. Great lob from Bruce to make a
Awesome.
transition here.
Nice touch on that here, too. And like I said, it might give Paget a little bit of an edge just because of a home court. I mean, Paget's out here more than just to play, you know, so he probably knows his court better than anybody.
He does, and he's been on court since 7:30 a.m.
Which could be an advantage and a disadvantage, as you know, Coach.
Yeah, no, I always say that there's a little bit of a director slump at the beginning of a match where
Sure.
you realize you're hitting the ball to people as though it's cooperative and then complimenting them on their great follow-through.
The compliments is what you have to get, you kind of avoid. If you.
Yeah, and ultimately I think that's probably, you shake that off after a couple games and then you hope to find your groove.
This is why a lot of the directors are always in the running for the sportsmanship award. I think that's what it is. 'Cause
Right.
you're inadvertently even. That's
Right, because right from the beginning you're just, you're playing cooperative paddle.
And I'm trying to say, I want to say, I'm going to give credit to Pete Burka from last week, who said this, and it happens a lot where points will extend. If they start out short, they'll start extending later. It doesn't look like this is the case here.
No, yeah, this is especially the style from Paget and Bruce is they're just going to kind of play error-free paddle, and this is essentially going to be a clinic in error management. Not a lot of huge shots, but a lot of good decisions, and the recreational player is going to learn from this one, and the idea that if you don't ever miss the blue, it's hard to lose points.
Difficult, yes. That's nice. I also like the idea of preparing with two hands, even if you only have a one-hander, just in case. If you need to use a left hand just to support it to get a little extra height on the lob,
Yeah.
always works out,
Yeah.
especially if you got to dig something out. Sometimes I even go lefty, Coach, if that sounds radical, but
No,
Every
if
so
needed,
often,
you
yeah.
got to be able to create some kind of leverage somewhere.
wow.
Excellent first point right there. I'm going to need a beer, Huso. I mean, that's if anybody's got anything,
I counted
I'm happy to have
67.
whatever's open.
It's a good drive off the side screen there, actually, from Jeremy. Ooh,
A
uncharacteristic.
rare miss to the deuce corner.
Corner,
That's why
yeah.
we don't hit the ball there, Paget.
Should we chalk it for him?
Yeah, I think
Let's
we
do
should
that.
probably get it ready.
He'll love that.
There's that screen drive
That's a
from
great
Rich.
shot.
Yep, he's got a
Thank you.
good ball that he can poke off the corner there on a heavy ball. 15-30. Thanks, man. Cheers.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Husto. That's just the beer I would have picked.
The jump overhead. Not kind of ill-advised, but you know what? If you feel
Tough poke. Just enough off speed to get somebody to flinch on the volley is going to kind of
Exactly.
be Bruce's
down the middle.
perfect sequence, yeah.
Uh-oh.
30-40. The opening hold so difficult to get in the world of paddle.
Nice crease there. I tell you what, if we did chalk it out, I think he'd hit that circle where we like the reset overhead pretty much every time. That's pretty impressive. It's actually a beautiful evening to play paddle. It's getting chillier, so balls aren't going to carry quite as much, even though this is still technically warm weather paddle. I think that would be Safe to say, am I wrong, Coach?
No, you're dead on there. This is through October, where it's still warm weather paddle, but I do appreciate when it's no longer 76 degrees.
Yes.
Oh, good transition here from Jeremy. Yeah, when you start getting into the 60s and you feel like the ball's not just absolutely launching off of every shot, it is nice and comfortable.
Yeah.
You can still wear shorts.
I mean, I know some people love it that way, but, you know, true paddle, if you'd say, you know, you gotta get. Oh, did he pulled that up?
He did, yeah. Just enough spin to dip that one into the court. Good dodge by Rich as well.
And I know you said this before, but he hit it so hard, really didn't have to move. His opponents really didn't have to move, Jeremy, and Rich really didn't have to move because the ball is still lively. It's
came
coming
out far enough
absolutely
for them to dig. All right, we've got deuce game here.
It must be the deuce side.
Yeah, I think this court is actually defective, built at an angle.
Your material is much better than mine, apparently. I'm not kidding. Yeah, I know. Apparently, it's okay. I'm at peace with it. Like I say, I'm okay with that. I know Skokie also has those LEDs, which are just spectacular.
Blinding.
Spectacularly bright they are, but I mean, on the other hand, you don't have very many, so to speak, dead spots on the court, you know?
No.
I'm not making fun of any country club that doesn't have them, namely the one we work for.
That's a tough.
Hey,
that one was serious.
So proud. Anyways, but no, it does make a difference. So it is like looking into the sun, depending on where you have to lob.
Yeah, lots of pros and cons to those too. Like, you know, you can go. The LEDs are super bright, obviously, when you're looking up into them, but there's no dark spot on the court.
No, exactly.
And then you can have a older halogen bulb that maybe isn't as bright in your face, but then you feel like the corners are a little bit shady.
Well, that's how I always make my excuse if I whiff. Yeah. Look at the angle. There we go. Get some condensation off the top bar there.
Don't worry, that condensation will grow back while this point is still going. It's like waiting for the space shuttle to launch out here. It's just gas and hoses everywhere.
It's not a bad drive.
It's a good volley as well for Bruce to come up with a quick drop. Bruce also has a real solid reset overhead that he's going to bait some drives a little bit because Paget is one of those players that loves to volley. So if he can, get these guys comfortable a little bit where they start to swing and Paget makes some moves.
Just going to wall up.
Yep, that's one where wall up. I like it. We're going to start teaching it that way.
There's a nice water. Another one. Sit down, sit down. Oh, look at that. Jeremy's up to the task. Impressive. Yeah. It's a pretty good swing there.
Yeah, impressive.
Wow. Hit the
just
alley.
A little wide.
Who says that's low percentage? Low percentage for everybody, but
close.
But Brian.
All right, we've got a game point here.
Great volley.
Nice pick.
Oh, that might have bit.
Just a little deep, I think. First game to Skokie.
Good thing I'm not calling it.
And what a battle. I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Yeah, do we have a cot in the back? Maybe I can stretch.
We're going to have to start switching off shifts. It's going to be pirate radio out here.
Yeah. There's all sorts of horrible artists on that stuff, so you don't want that at all. I try to take my word for it.
That's where I belong. I'm a horrible artist. You can't stop me. Thank you.
I just want to wear the hook as the hand. Horrible. That didn't deserve a rim shot. Okay, here we go. Let's see if there's any.
All right, 1-0 Skokie.
Wow.
That's a great return from Bruce. Probably Bruce's strength on off. I mean, Bruce's screen drive. Yeah, absolutely. Is going to be a go-to for him, and that's going to be Paget's right there, is the backhand screen drive.
Oh,
a little deep.
Wow. I notice I'm not seeing many cutters either, Coach. Then again, I have not seen. I've seen Paget play before. Look at this. Oh,
that is so close.
Almost.
Yep. Smart to let that ball go, though. That's one that you're hoping is out. And if it clips the line, you say nice shot, but you don't want to get involved in that one.
Wow. He's off balance, still spun that down. That was impressive.
Little dipper.
Exactly. Back to your point about watching the line, that's one thing for a lot of league players. You pretty much leave the line alone.
Yeah.
Say bow to your sensei if they're able to hit that alley.
Yeah, give them a couple of boards on the outside edge.
Exactly.
And be willing to say nice shot.
Sure.
So much of paddle is hoping for the out ball, and if it's not what you get, then you can always dig it out off the screen.
Well, look at the touch. Bruce. Fine.
Sorry, I'm making Mai Tais.
Sit.
Just long.
He's free swinging.
Yeah.
Please take that the right way. So,
yeah, taking a swing on the backhand is something that Paget is going to do for sure. And I know him well enough that so he grew up playing hockey, and the great volley there to close. Yeah,
Jeremy.
And so he grew up playing hockey, and so he was a lefty stick handler, and so his two-handed backhand was always his best shot in tennis. And so when he first started playing, in a very textbook way, everybody was saying, you drive your forehand and you lob your backhand, and he's too nice a guy to argue with anybody. So after 3 years, he was like, you know what, I think I got to start hitting my backhand, and it was like lights out.
Yeah.
As compared to his flat forehand slap. And then he figured it out and never looked back. But it's a good roller right there.
This puts a little bit more movement. It's kind of interesting, too. How much? There we go. Yeah. They just revert to it. I love the wrist shot. That's one of my faves. I'm not saying that's a percentage shot, but every so often you're faking them, maybe a lob or just a chip.
Yep.
And just slap it flat.
And just go get a little heat
that's
on it.
That's a great shot. Awesome. Great shot. Tell you what, Bruce is coming up big here. I'm not taking it away from Coach Paget. Just
no. This is their strength. Is that they're just willing to. They're just going to be willing to grind. Yeah, absolutely. And one of those things I know that Bruce, still does, is he'll come out on early morning once or twice a week and for an hour and just be like, I want you to throw the kitchen sink at me because I got to be able to grind all day, and it pays off.
Apparently. Look at this guy. Skyhook. That's one of my faves as well. Could have been a blitzable. I thought.
Yeah, maybe a little opportunity there. That's another thing that Paget does like to do, is to make some transitions happen.
Well, even though it seems like an hour has gone by, this is still early in the match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second game.
Unbelievable. But this is pretty much the way it's supposed to be. I mean, as much as we'll make comments about it, I mean, like I said, a lot of league players watching this. I mean, it's kind of a clinic here.
Did you still have to take your wife to the airport, Sean?
She's already back.
She's missing that flight. Sorry. This is...
Just from the shotgun mic back there, which, by the way, is behind Rich and Jeremy.
That's a good setup for it tonight. I like it. I think we're getting the right... It's tough.
Just had to take it. I like to call that, I mean, this isn't my term. I'm not coining it. It's called the patience tolerance threshold. How many shots are going to go
tolerance
through?
Threshold. That sounds a lot better than shot clock, which is what most people say. So I like it that's the direction that you decided to take it.
I was even thinking on one side or the other, Coach. In other words, how many backhands are you willing to hit?
Right.
Some guys are like, I can go forehand lob all day, and then if I got to hit 2 or 3 backhands in a row, one of them's got to be a drive. I just can't, it's funny the way that works. More condensation.
Yep, told you.
Man, you are good. There, drop.
That's another. So that's an error that gets caused by Paget reading the down-up overhead, right? And something that he likes to cut off early, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of your swing, you see him take off and realize you're about to hit the ball right to him.
Peripheral stuff.
Yeah, it's a nightmare scenario. Okay, so Skokie up 2-0 here.
Exactly. Yeah, well, I suppose I should just stop yakking away and start talking about the score a little bit here, Coach. Sorry. It's a nice drive.
I just did 2-0.
Okay.
Good transition. Still
The
2-0.
segue. The segue. Yeah.
The master of segues. Speaking of which, I don't hear a lot about segues anymore. I mean, I know they do city tours with them, you
Yeah.
know, and some mall cops have them.
They're out there.
But I thought that was going to be the wave of the future. I thought we were all going to stop.
They're out
I
there.
wasn't done, Cal. I've got a tight 2 minutes on segues, okay? Why don't you?
Well,
It's for my open mic.
if you think about it, I'm not sure they're. Oh,
Oh.
If you'd have pulled that off, you
Yep.
know, that would you get check one in the gold point column, because there's no way anybody else is going to try to pull that off. He almost did there. That's
Well,
a
it's
good
also
return.
one that, from a strategy perspective, he's going to make a move on because he doesn't want to play a match for 3 hours.
Right.
And if you let somebody hit the ball high into your side screen on the corner, then you're going to be there all day, you know, just digging out screens. And so he's going to try to force some more aggression on the overhead so that stuff happens.
Yeah, you hear certain commentary after a while. In my opinion, of course, it's all good-natured, of course, but they'll
Unless
say
I'm saying it. Then
say things like
It's-
some of us has to work.
it's
in the morning.
vindictive vitriol. And good
Nice
hands by
volley,
Bruce there.
Bruce.
Yeah, that was
Okay,
a good
they're gonna
look.
need another ball. Coming back. Look at that.
Oh, it's coming right to him.
It even dried off one of the heaters. I mean, I think that's multitasking, you know, the definition of multitasking, if you will. Awesome. Can't believe he went for that. You know what? I don't know whether to be admired, admire that or. Oh, is that a seamer? They looked that way, didn't it?
It was a
off
tough
kinda-
ball. Yeah, it kind of came off a little weird.
Yeah, no question.
Sorry, the definition of multitasking is to perform more than one task at the same time.
Thanks, Jamie. Much appreciated.
Right.
I think that we should make that a pretty solid part of our content, is you doing definitions of things that everyone knows. But that's a new role for Cal Noble.
I notice it's every time I use a word. I don't know why that is.
That's a great
Did
angle
he-
for
did he
Bruce
call
to
it
come
in?
up with.
Did he call that in? I don't know. He looked
I
like he
thought
said
it was
call
good, yeah.
I think it did. Okay. By the way, so the
30 love?
yeah. By the way, I don't mind mentioning this on the air. So you know we're doing an excellent job commentating when the two gentlemen that were to the right of me got up and went back outside and sat down on the bench. So, you know, I don't want to listen to this.
No,
for too long.
I get it. I get it.
I noticed they were by me. So, if anything, you know, I'm the one who has to be canned
I don't think you should take it personally. It's just because you didn't shower today.
today. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Olay.
Oh, that's a good move.
Olay biscuit barrel. Bruce, awesome. Okay. No.
Oh, a little aggressive with the poke off
Yeah,
the screen,
you know what?
trying
A
too
little
hard to
more-
make it happen.
Maybe a little more underspin, Coach. Maybe, you know what I mean? Just float it just a little bit more.
Yeah, I think he knew as soon as he hit it that he was going to have to
The
do extra
poach.
with the
I
ball.
haven't seen one of those in a while. That's a good
That's
shot.
tough.
It's a good shot from Rich.
Good ball. And a
I
first
don't
game
remember
for
that kind of talent. in
Northmoor there. It's going to be 1 serving 2. Skokie up.
It's a ball game, though. That's what the fans want, and I mean fans plural. Yes, I said it.
I just want to thank our 7 concurrent viewers that we have currently for sticking around.
Yeah, that's what the fans want to see more paddle.
I had a buddy that went to the Sox game last night, and in the 8th inning, it was like 8-1, and he was like, "There's a lot of game left. I don't know why people are leaving." And I was like, I think I know why people are leaving.
Oh, the underhand serve.
You know
By the
what?
way-
I like it that Rich is pulling it out, though. He does have a good first volley. He likes to keep that ball low.
Well, you
although
did,
that's going to be a problem when you
yeah.
go to Padgett's backhand. But
The other thing is, if I'm missing something, and I'm just going to say it, he goes with an open stance, which is kind of cool. Only thing I would wonder about if that actually works out, because you actually don't get a hip and a shoulder in there, so sometimes you will leave it short. It's not. I mean, he can do it like that. That looked all right.
All right, Rich, nervous on the live stream. I told him not to be, but by saying that out loud, I ruined it for him. But
well, it's like somebody slipped you a 50 from Skokie Country Club and said, hey, keep it fair. And you did. You're doing it. So, no, that's not true at all.
15 love.
I have the 50, so he didn't get anything.
I'm keeping it.
That's right. There's a little chopper, kind of, sort of. You're right, though, Coach. That kind of service game can kind of haunt you a bit. And when I say that, I mean it can reverberate because the next time you're up, it's kind of like now there's almost a little bit more pressure on you.
Yeah.
This is why it's so important, even if you're just going to kind of dish it in, to get your first serve. Let's say first serve.
Yeah.
Get your serve in first.
I totally agree, and I do think that there's an element to where you're at in the serve rotation as well,
Sure.
and especially that underhand roller serve is a pretty thin margin.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it can be tough to kind of find your groove. And I'll also be honest with you that you definitely start thinking about it, especially when you hit one and then Paget hits the drive that he did.
Yes.
Where you start going second guessing it in the middle of your swing.
I just start staying back. Don't even bother coming
maybe, yeah. I mean, it is on option, and you see it a lot more at this temperature, right?
Yes.
And it's definitely the way to play if you feel like the first volley is at all a liability.
No question.
It's a good drive by Jeremy and good
And by
hands
the way,
by
having
Bruce.
said that, it can happen to anybody. I mean, it's not like Rich is alone in that department. We've all hit, 1, 2, maybe even 3 faults in the game and figure, okay, geez, I really dug myself. Or
Not me. I go for the golden game, Sean, where my opponents never have to touch a ball and I can just send it to the other side.
Win or lose, yes.
Because I don't want them to have to waste any precious calories by playing a point out.
That's very considerate, I think is the word I'm looking for.
So hard to come by in a paddle hut, too. Extra calories. We don't have any beer or burgers around. We're barely able to find sustenance.
That's right. No high carbohydrates. Look at this. There we go. Now we got a little rhythm going here.
Ultimately, this is the point that Rich and Jeremy need to play, right, is targeting that fourth quadrant. There it is. Oh, it's a good move, though.
Good hands by Paget again.
Yeah. But they can, pull, with enough lobs, pull them out of position so that Paget and Bruce are kind of, a little bit on top of each other and then get some looks.
Absolutely. And not to be a broken record, but I'm telling you, it does make a difference that Paget's home court, sometimes if you feel like you're a little quicker on your home court because you're a little more comfortable.
That is a good low drive right there.
Shot because
that's okay.
Bruce, and it's his home court. What happened?
Yeah.
I'll shut up now.
No, that's fine. Sean, you want to tell us a little bit about your theory on home court?
It's actually a thesis I'm writing.
I think it's an 80-pager. It's just a tough little side screen with no pace to be dying as it hits.
Bruce, real unassuming. I like that. So hit a great shot like that.
Bruce,
just start walking.
Bruce is an underrated sleeper who is at the top of whatever team he plays because he doesn't make bad decisions.
No.
It's not like you can't hit a great shot and win a point. It's that you cannot bait him into doing something dumb. He plays a stable game. You will not see him hit a ball too hard. You will see him occasionally miss a drive, but I think he and I played a tournament season together, and a number of drives that he missed, long, was in the single digits at one point. After a few tournaments, and he just refuses to make those kind of mistakes. I'm pretty sure it's 4-1 Skokie here.
I think so too.
And I curse Bruce by saying it out loud.
I mean, isn't
what
that
a jerk?
Incredible. But and by the way, I think you're spot on because it just seems that way. The other thing is, he's not a real effusive,
spin move,
emotional player. You won't see you won't even see a fist pump or anything.
No, he just gets the job done. Yeah. And a rare forehand drive there from Paget, which is not his go-to.
Yeah, and
You
yet
can
he
always
does
tell
have a
when
nice
Padgett's
forehand.
driving his forehand that they're either way ahead or way behind. Something's going to happen. Great move there, and great volley by Rich. Oh, just a little
Try
fin,
that.
and me over-exaggerating it to cover the language.
See, the one time the shotgun mic works, right? We don't
Thanks,
need that.
Sean.
Right. Right.
Audio engineer.
Fire Sean Albert.
No, actually, it's been pretty excellent.
Has it?
It's been, yeah. No, I think, you know, it's worth mentioning that we've put a solid team together for this little project, and everybody kind of has their, you know, their point of focus, their
role.
level
Absolutely.
of expertise, and Cal especially is really good at pressing the button.
Nice cue there.
Yes, and I think
Sit down.
I think it's been fun. Yep, he got it. Great lob.
Back edge of the line.
And this is one of those matches where somebody hits a short lob. I don't get to say it's showtime because it's just, you know, not. It's just not going to be that kind of thing. So I'm going to start throwing it in there, and then I want you to understand that when I say it, it's because somebody hit a really high quality shot in the world of paddle.
Yes.
Good call.
That might have been one right there. That's even better.
Showtime. What a reset. That's what it was all about.
The definition of showtime is the time at which a play, film, or concert is scheduled to begin, and it has nothing to do with paddle.
Okay. That is excellent, actually, because I don't think most people are aware of what showtime means.
Hold on. This
Especially
isn't a
as
production?
good dig by Bruce, especially
Really
as a euphemism, you know, in the world of paddle. I think most people don't have the ability to figure it out, so I'm glad we're talking about it.
I beg to differ, by the
Little
way.
known fact.
I think this is like a movie, as far as I'm concerned. The only thing we don't have is a soundtrack. And
Great
I'm still
ball. Good volley,
formulating that
too,
right
by
now,
Jeremy.
By the way. Just-
Yeah, exactly. We do kind of need a soundtrack. I think you and Peter should get together
yeah.
and put something together,
Get out.
because I've just been using, you know, copyright-free techno music.
That's fine.
And don't yeah,
Jeez.
yeah, thanks. And don't get me wrong, as much as I love DJ Markski mixing it up Euro style for the opening of our video,
He uses Mookie.
I think we can do better.
Let's
It's a
just say
great
we can do something different.
poke.
I don't know what better is anymore. Oh,
Better is
another uncharacteristic move, don't you think?
yeah.
Bruce
That's
does
a
not
rare miss
pull
from
stuff
Bruce.
like that. Wow.
Yeah, better being an objective term where you compare anything to techno music.
Absolutely.
Whatever it is better than techno music.
It really doesn't matter what it is.
Hungarian scream singing.
All right, I want to say this is a break point. I'm not positive, so don't want me to do your investments for you. Oh, this is
Yeah,
back
a little
to deuce
jam
right
on the
here.
serve. Back to deuce. Still 4-1 Skokie, I believe.
Sounds right.
It looks right. Padgett's starting to get real aggressive here
Yeah.
with his movement. Not with his actual shot making, because one of the things he does is just move well, and he's just going to put himself in positions to have chances,
Sure.
but he's not actually going to pull the trigger unless the right ball shows up. Which is so frustrating to play against, because at a certain point you kind of want somebody to, you know, go after a ball.
Sure.
Rich with ramping up some spin. A little switch, smart play from these guys to get back in formation.
Sit down.
Smart jam.
Now that's a musical term.
Almost double-digit viewers. Come on, guys, spread the word. I'm just kidding. That's not what this is about.
That's a great lob sit. Wow. I was feeling pretty good about Jeremy's serve there. Rich
good
finishes
hold.
it. Great touch from Rich Lund.
All right, 4 serving
Give
2
him
here,
credit.
Skokie. Bruce McKinnon in the red. Rocket serve from Bruce. Just absolutely crushing the ball. So Bruce is one of those guys, no joke, that just totally when one of us as a teaching pro said something, he would just take it to the nth degree, right? And so at some point, somebody said, the serve is a defensive shot. It's all about setting up your volley. And so he hasn't hit a serve more than 7 miles an hour for his entire career, which is why his first volley is so good.
Yes.
I think we're going to start calling him the Red Rocket. Going out to Cal Noble for that shout out. Everybody by the end of this match is going to have a nickname, including Sean the Destroyer of Worlds Albrecht.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking Andy Dalton needs to start playing paddle because he probably is not going to have much to do after a while.
You're probably right.
It's going to be Justin Fields' team. Anyway, so back to the paddle. That's a nice lob for Rich.
Oh, back to the paddle. Master of segues.
Yeah.
That's a good shift and drive there from Rich. Rich actually is one of those guys where you put a ball kind of right at him, and he drives so well from a jammed position. Like, he doesn't need to be stretched out in order to hit solid drives. Like, he doesn't mind if a ball's kind of on his hip. He'll take a little step and find some pop just deep on the lob.
I noticed that.
First point, I want to say. 15 love here at 4 serving 2.
Oh.
Robbed by the tape. That's Sean. Talk a little bit about home court advantage and how that let cord going that direction. It can play a factor.
I still contend that the courts actually slope to that side. Literally, like you're going downhill when you're on this.
You don't realize it, but every court slopes towards the golf course.
It's true.
And
I firmly believe that.
That's where we're at here. So I think the paddle court's back up against the 16th hole here at Skokie.
Wow. Is that what this is? 16th hole?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That is a good move from Jeremy. Caught a little let cord because of the slope of the golf course.
Patience, tolerance. Okay, do you think that might have been a lot? Maybe I'm just being conservative there.
No, I mean, honestly, that's one of Jeremy's best shots.
Is it?
So I do think that, because he's good on the stretch and he has a good two-hander, I feel like that's an opportunity where when he gets it, he has to pull the trigger.
He may as well. Okay.
Yeah.
You know why, Coach?
Because he's a good counterpuncher, right? Like, he kind of wants a little pace to go at his corner so that he can send that energy back on the ball, and it is something he does well.
Can I say it? I'll say it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll say it. Oh, this is why you're playing 1 and I'm playing 4.
Cal thinks it's hilarious.
Another illustration of exactly why. Sean, when it's higher level paddle, we actually pull that stuff off. Oh, really?
Oh, okay. That's how it works. Great roller. Starting to find his groove a little bit. Yeah, that's a good low ball.
Unbelievable dig. I mean, I barely got a chance to check that out, but you know what? Paget just
starting to mix it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Haven't seen too many pure nick overheads.
No, and I think that's something you actually see with a kind of a style of match like this. Is there's not a ton of value, right? If you're hitting at this pace, there's not a ton of value at trying to put balls directly into the corner because, number one, they're going to get intercepted.
Right.
And number two, if somebody moves over there, you're giving them an outside angle.
I could see that.
So it's almost like you have to be hitting, a little more spin or a little bit more of an aggressive roller in order to start going right at the corner, because hitting the corner has value by shooting out, in kind of a random direction. And hitting a ball into the corner at 2 miles an hour is very makeable for all these teams. So if they're not finding the angle, then there's not a ton going on.
Once again, I give you the contrast of 1 and 4.
Well, I'm also going to say that, especially with the way that these the style, right?
Yes.
If everybody's hitting decent lobs, you're not getting a lot of looks at playing offense,
That's a really
and
good
Bruce
point.
and Paget, I would say both of them, their best shot is their lob.
Absolutely.
So you see how Jeremy's constantly stepping outside the service box. These guys are outside the service box every time they're playing a shot. And so you're not playing a lot of offense from that position.
Nope. You got to take more than 2 steps back. You're probably doing your job as a logger. By the way,
Bruce starting to feel it a little bit on the screen drive. You
Was
can
it-
tell when he starts to hold his paddle a little bit longer and change directions.
he is good at that.
The Red Rocket.
I'm loving that. I don't know if he
So
will.
is Bruce.
Oh, is he? By the way,
I'm going to do an impression of Bruce McKinnon when I tell him about the Red Rocket. He's going to be like, that's fine. Good dig by Bruce in coverage.
Oh, what a lob. Nice recovery there. No, I was just going to say it's not lost on me, and I'm going to give Rich Lund the props. He hit an overhead serve, and it was beautiful to start the game.
Yeah,
So
probably the way to go. And
Yeah.
sometimes, I mean, that's a tough one because you can warm up that roller serve and just all of a sudden you're not feeling it and you have to be able to transition.
It's a good point,
Which good
Coach.
for him to be able to go back and forth because sometimes you overcommit and just decide you're going to go one direction
That's
with
right.
it. A smart poke from Bruce down the line there.
It's driving range. We call it like driving range. You know, I'm going to use this on the course, and then you try it once, and it's a disaster.
Fun fact about Bruce McKinnon, he might also have the fastest round of golf at Skokie Country Club.
Really?
Yeah, because he likes to go out at like 6 a.m. when the sun comes up and then play a round that lasts for like an hour and 48 minutes.
He's got things to do. not
Yeah,
like the
well, I
rest
mean,
of
he
us.
just, you know, he wants to play. He doesn't, you know, that's a
Nice shot.
good shot to come up with there by Rich.
Yeah, good reflex there by Rich.
How are we doing? Are we able to say that we have tens of viewers yet? Because that's one of my go-to jokes. I don't want to leave it behind. Whatever, I'll just lie about it.
You just can keep repeating it. I'm going to think it's funny.
Thanks, John.
It's going in.
Now let's talk a little bit about home court advantage.
All right, and I was the one that said that Rich is serving better, and he is, by the way. But they're down 50 or 15-40 at this point. Back to the paddle. There we go.
We have a comment from Spencer saying, Marina and I are watching from home. Hashtag go Northmoor. Hashtag somebody drive something.
I do think that there's an opportunity within the live stream format here to start to get more engagement from the community. I like, in all seriousness, I think it's one of the fun things about having a live stream
Yes.
and making that happen. Great digs from Skokie here.
You know what? It might not be a bad idea, especially since the venerable Cal Noble is on the audio board at this point.
Right. And I mean,
not even to take a phone call.
as long as he's willing to mod,
Yes.
to make sure that when somebody starts dropping in an OnlyFans, advertisement, that there's somewhere we can go.
Because we could. It's not
And
like
not
can't have a
Paget's
phone
OnlyFans,
guest. No.
which is totally worth it. But
Yeah. Legions.
right, exactly.
Legions of fans. I believe that's the set.
Well played first set there, 6-2. Skokie Country Club. All right, we're going to take a quick break and do some promos for some of these companies that are helping support Chicago Paddle.
Hopefully there'll be a drive along the way.
Stick around. We'll try to find a drive while we're out.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Illinois Bone and Joint Institute is the best choice for orthopedic care. Our walk-in ortho access clinics provide treatment by orthopedic specialists without a trip to the ER. With evening and weekend hours, we provide your family with excellent care when it matters most. Visit ibji.com to find an ortho access immediate care clinic near you.
All right, you're back live, Cal, so that's good. Just a lot of sound effects rolling through. Did you say you wanted to do your own soundboard? You want to get some
Yeah, I think we need a that's what she said.
That's probably a good one.
Wow.
I think we need to have the Immortal Ninja going, "You're trash, Cat."
Well, anything we can do so we don't have to issue a disclaimer before the show. Okay, so that's all. As the elder statesman, the old man sitting in the corner, drooling. Exactly.
In a bathrobe.
Right. Exactly. Complaining about the lack of decorum. I'm just saying we just got to make sure. We don't do anything where we have to issue a disclaimer before every broadcast. Okay, here we go.
Okay, second set, Paget to serve. He's going to ramp it up a little bit. I would expect Paget to swing a little bit more in the second set here after winning the first one, and I would
Yes.
I would expect Bruce to play the same stable paddle that he always does for his entire life.
That kind of allows Paget to take
That's
a few
true,
chances.
yeah. No, I
It's
always...
a nice contrast, Coach.
When I was playing with Bruce, I always felt like there was an opportunity there that he was going to be able to bail you out of trouble, and if I took a little bit more risk, there was going to be less of a penalty.
Almost.
That was a good move, though. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a
Unfortunately,
nice-looking drive.
Jeremy hasn't converted a ton of those tonight, but it really is his shot. He really is good at it, and I think he needs to keep swinging.
Well, it's funny because, like I said, I played tennis as his partner, and he puts way
It's a
more
good
top on his
waterfall
forehand than he
there,
does on his
buried
backhand
in
on
the
the
corner.
tennis court as well.
Yes, yeah.
So, as Trey Casual in that forehand volley. Look at him get there.
No, yeah.
Going to eat some screen
That's
there.
a good dig. Everyone's favorite shot is when someone hits the casual overhead drop shot and then doesn't move at all.
Right.
That's great. That doesn't make you angry or anything.
That's about as hard as I've seen a serve hit this year in paddle, by the way. That last one. Not talking about that one, but that last one that Paget hit, he pretty much manhandled that one.
He's trying to
that
crank
was
it.
beautiful.
Yeah, maybe the tournament we did earlier, there was definitely some pretty heavy serves coming out in, obviously warm weather, early season paddle. But a lot of bite on the ball, too. Getting it to kick to the screen or spin like crazy off the screen.
Exactly. Oh, it's a good move.
Pressure. Yeah, good pressure.
Great move by Jeremy. Kind of looming, Coach. Remember that? He's been looming.
And once again, Cal, looming is when you use a machine to put together a tapestry or rug, blanket, those types of things. Well played.
That was just nasty.
Actually, the definition of looming is to appear as a shadowy form, especially one that is large or threatening.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's definitely the one Sean was talking about.
I've been looming my whole life, I think.
As it turns out, I'm quite the shadowy form. Not just because I've gained weight.
A little too big a shadow, in my opinion, for me right now. So look at this.
Yeah, good move here. Yeah. Yep. Creating some transition.
It's kind of tough to go around the net post and paddle. I'm just going to say it.
It is. It's not. It doesn't happen as often as you might think. It's not quite the. It's not quite the pickleball play.
Exactly.
With,
you might think if we just don't have the
regularity.
There's no room. I don't see how you get. You know what I mean? I just don't see how you're going to get it around. There's maybe 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet on either side where the posts are.
Yeah, and it's kind of rare for a ball to bounce that close to the net post and stay there because you can always play it off the screens.
Right.
So, there tends to be some short angle, but most of the time you're probably digging it out off the screen.
Absolutely true.
All right, 1-0 Skokie. Another good lob from Bruce. Transition up to the net. Well, he read it early.
He did.
It's a good move.
And actually, I remember, and I played tennis with Richard Lund before. I remember him having a two-handed backhand. I almost felt like that might be an opportunity for a drive with two.
Yeah, you know what? You do see more transitions from players between tennis and paddle where you'll see players on the paddle court give up on a two-hander.
Sure.
Just because you have a little bit more reach.
Yeah. That makes sense. On the other hand, I just look at it like, hey, it's another pitch, it's another weapon, and it would be something that was really nice.
Good transition ball there on both sides.
No way.
Yep, Padgett's going to make his move and get out
There's
of the
a
way
Nick.
for the Red Rocket.
I am really digging that nickname.
Bruce is going to be excited when he gets off court, too. On the upside, there are only 9 people that will have heard about it.
There's always streaming and syndication, Coach. That's what I call it.
That's right. We are definitely getting picked up
Nice
in syndication.
shot.
Great touch by Jeremy to go inside out with a little soft side screen.
Once again, this is a tough part of the match. I believe, they're down love one. They're down a set already. So knowing they're going to have to grind this, if they're going to win this, they got to grind. And so sometimes, especially where paddle's concerned, it can be difficult, mentally to come back. That's why it's such a focus game. At the same time, you can't really relax too much as the winners of the first set, just thinking, oh, we got this in the bag. Can't do that either.
Right.
You let up a little bit.
Right. I would like to see Jeremy and Rich get a little bit more aggressive here, actually, and see if they can, kind of get some momentum back. If you can hit a couple of nicks, or if you can get
Like
a couple of errors in a situation that, that forces some
That was a
pressure.
nice
That's just
little-
another move by Padgett to hit and then close, where you're
Yes.
trying to volley away from trouble and there's just no court left.
I could swear that a little less wrist snap. It's Pete Burka. Get down.
Oh,
That was a great serve.
yep. Got some kick on it. And Padgett's going to be irritated with that one because that's a big opportunity. He's bad and he should feel bad.
And hoist into the shadows. What a shot.
Nice.
What a shot. Give Rich Lund some credit there. That might be the aggressiveness you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a good ball. It came out far enough, and I think Bruce had an opportunity, but that might be a little bit of a press, right, where you sense that somebody's a little out of position and you try to manufacture a shot.
Sure.
And it turns into an error instead of an opportunity. 1-1.
I believe so. Great
volley from Bruce, yep. That's one of the things he does so well, is he's just so balanced by the time the ball shows up. Because he doesn't put too much on the serve.
Right.
I mean, he just...
Oh,
well,
where's the rim shot?
See where he didn't put too much on the serve there, Cal?
Just out, nice try.
Yeah, good opportunity there
good
as
move,
well.
though.
And that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, where, a little bit of pressure, see if you can maybe get a few quick points out of some errors, by adding that.
He's staying back, just rolling with it, taking what the defense gives you. The Red Rocket. That's a nice lob.
They're going to switch back here.
Awesome. I just want to say that I think I'm responsible for all 4 of those guys going out on the bench outside and not sitting here.
We'll keep sending them away, Sean. It's no problem. Little wide on the lob.
Hey, look at it this way. At least you cancel out the ambient noise.
I shouldn't have been sending them all text messages that are like, Sean needs to focus. Please be quiet.
Here's a break point.
Yeah, an opportunity. Again, on Jeremy's return, which has been the heavier ball, Bruce deciding to stay back and just get in the point.
That was more like a do-si-do switch right there.
Yeah.
Almost
No,
like a
they
pick.
practiced that.
Like a pick switch.
That was coordinated. Oh, thanks, Justo. Appreciate it. Did you want a beer also? Okay.
Most of the time, we'll tell league players not to hit that high bouncing overhead into the deuce corner. Explain a little bit about that, and after that I'll talk about home court advantage.
I think the big one is, and this is actually kind of a circumstance in which you feel like you have to because you're trying to keep a ball out of, Padgett's corner.
Correct.
Right? And so you feel like that's a little bit of a threat.
Right.
And so as a result, you have to swing some balls the opposite direction. The same rule applies that you probably should be attacking a player's backhand rather than attacking a player's corner.
Exactly.
Right? That's a great touch right there from Jeremy to read that dig and then be right on top of the net. Yeah.
All of a sudden,
yeah, and so it's
we got a battle.
Sometimes unless you're going aggressive, if you're hitting a roller or you're adding some pace and you're trying to hit a nick, there's not a ton of value in getting a ball to that side screen unless somebody's out of position on the deuce side. Yeah, that up high ball to the side screen is just not my favorite shot. I just think there's probably better options until until it really becomes a truly defensive accident almost.
Right.
Yeah. The difference maker becomes if you're playing at a level where you can always be transitioning your position and be in front of the ball. And teams have to practice that for a long time to get on the same page. Then you can start being more liberal with how you swing the ball around. But that shot right there is going to have a lot of value for Northmoor. Just trying to get the ball to, that right there, Bruce's backhand, and then Jeremy stepping up is a great play.
Sure.
Just because that, the backhand screen drive just doesn't usually have as much on it. That one is a good ball as well because it hits the back screen first.
Wow.
Oh, the dunk.
Pull this one off. It's not an easy
tough.
play.
We're scrambling now.
Pick.
Oh, smart shot right there from Jeremy. Padgett able to recover, but a really good play.
That might be the one you were talking about, where that's not a bad time to swing it just because it can catch Padgett in the center.
Yep.
Look at this. That's gonna. Oh, he's gonna hit it.
Oh, he played it. What a guy.
Wide, maybe.
I don't know. It was going to be close. In that situation, you might feel like you have to pull the trigger. Yeah, I can see that.
See, there you go. That's at my level. I let it go, and it's in, and we lose a ball.
You can let anything bounce as long as you track the ball down.
Yeah, that's true.
The key is you can't just watch it and then be like, oh, no.
Wait a minute. Let me get this down.
Perfect time for a sound effect there, Cal. Read the cues. Maybe we need to get a little, the other one. We need to get that sound. Yeah. But I think the ball or the sound effect that comes out of The Price is Right when somebody loses a game. I think we get one of those.
That's a grind point right there.
I didn't see it. I was talking to Cal about The Price is Right. I was successfully able to estimate the overall cost of the Skokie paddle facility, though. I was closest without going over at $2.6 million.
This is up, and this is a little, Now, we would call that Australian, Coach.
Yep.
Although, and I'm sure Coach Spencer, if she's listening, probably wouldn't appreciate it, but it could have been the eye. Because he was kind of in the center.
Yeah, you can kind of go either way with those. I always try to tell people I'm under the impression that the I formation implies that you are going to make a decision to go one direction or the other.
Sure.
Whereas the Australian is you're committing to being on one side. You can always call a switch or a poach, but you're fully dedicated to being on one side.
Yep.
And hopefully being a full plan.
Exactly.
It's a ball that Bruce likes, yeah. He held back on it a little bit, but it came out pretty high. But that is his. It is his shot.
Definition of Australian is a native or inhabitant of Australia.
And
you know what? We might have to double check that.
Aussies kind of like to curse. I think,
it's coming out at the right time.
Not a bad segue from Rich Lund. I only say that because I did live with an Australian family for a little while when I was kicked out of my own house. So anyway, thank you. No, I wasn't really.
That was a situation where that's true.
It was, yeah. Not the kicking out of the house, but the other thing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's right. Anyway,
it's a totally different type of home court advantage, Sean.
I'd have to say right now, and I'm just saying this as we go back to the paddle, that the Northmoor actually has a little momentum going here.
Yeah, they do for sure.
Like that was out.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of why I like to see them be a little bit more aggressive from up at the net, is that sometimes you do get people to pull the trigger by playing that style.
Sure.
Right? You do a little more with your overhead, and they feel a little bit more compelled to do more with their follow-up shots, like we're seeing from Paget here.
Absolutely.
He's tired of getting pushed around.
1-3, guys.
One serving three.
Hey, the
Northmoor
shotgun mic
up in
actually
the
paid
second
off
set.
right there.
Paget following directions and calling
Great
the score
touch.
nice and loud as instructed.
It's a nice touch from
That's
Lund.
Bruce's ball for sure.
To
Yep.
take the net. Wow. That, you know what? Keep that sound effect, because that lob.
Good transaction. Yeah,
was-
that
was
lob
pure magic. Yes.
should be in the air long enough for you to get through that whole sound effect.
No question. That was genie in a bottle. Uh-oh.
Nice lob and transition.
Look at this. We call that a Belleville bash back when I was a lad. Courtesy of Jimmy Connors, by the way. Oh, what a
Great
2 in a row.
volley.
Unbelievable.
Good play. Jeremy irritated that
Exactly.
return didn't win the point immediately.
Exactly,
So
like, come on,
deciding
man.
to pull
Yeah.
the trigger on the next one as
And
well.
who wouldn't have tried that?
No, I totally agree.
Okay, now they're trying to. This is maybe a little too aggressive. I think they almost, through osmosis, heard you, Coach, and are trying to apply.
Well, this glass isn't soundproof, so it wouldn't surprise me. The trick, right, and what makes paddle such a difficult game is finding that healthy median, right? So they got a little aggressive, it paid off.
Yes.
And then maybe they tilted the needle a little bit too
Too
far
much.
in that.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden a couple of free errors by going for big shots.
It's really funny you say that,
It's
because
a great roller from Paget.
after I hit a shot that
Jam
maybe
sandwich.
In that general department, I do like to say things like that. Too much, like a little too much. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Flat second serve at love 40. Too much. Yeah.
Well,
probably.
why not go for it?
Yeah. All right. So technically, I guess we could say we're back. Are we back on serve? No.
No, still,
They're still up a
Skokie
break?
still down a break, and or Northmoor up a break, depending on how you look at it.
Yep.
I was just calling the score for this side of the net, but 3 serving 2 Northmoor.
I don't think Jeremy's, and I'm not jinxing him here, missed a serve.
No, I don't think he has either, but guarantee he's going to in this game because you said it out loud.
Yeah. Oh,
Just waited a little too long.
to hit the roller.
Yeah, he set it up nice and early.
Okay, this. There you go.
Was that the jinx right there?
It
Was that Jeremy's
It
first
was-
missed serve?
I believe so.
Way to go, Sean.
You know what? I'm not trying to root for anybody in particular. So. Yeah.
I am, and it's the Astros.
Now that the Sox are out, I figured.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sit. Uh-oh.
Oh,
It was
yeah,
in.
great lob.
How does that happen?
Causing a transition.
How do these
That
things
is a
happen?
problem. Paget taking his medicine, realizes that is the world's worst waterfall.
But again.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And then Bruce willing to step up and help out as well.
And
on
hit
the,
a perfect-
on the tomahawk from the opposite
Right.
side.
And a perfect touch on the volley.
Serve was a little bit long.
You
Yep.
know what? I'm so sorry.
That's why you got a
to send
partner
him-
right there. That's why it's so important, because as the returner, you're trying to make moves and make something happen.
You know, and he did
rely on
so
your
much
partner
for
to
me
make a
when
call.
we played doubles together on the tennis court. What do I do to him?
Good dig by Bruce.
What
Can he
kind
get
of-
out of it? Yes, he can.
I'm gonna have to
Buried
send him a
in the
fruit
side
basket or
screen. Gonna stay back.
something. Send him a fruit basket and something.
Oh,
a card
Paget
or
making a
something.
move.
No way.
Yep. Yep. He's more of a ninja and less of a paddle
Now
player
he's
when you
just
think
showing
about
off
it. Well,
with
it's
that
that
stuff.
urban camo, you know.
That's true.
I mean,
he's feeling it.
yeah, if you're
You're
not
right.
if you're not going to make aggressive moves where you streak across the court in a stealthy way, then what's the point of wearing that stuff? Another good aggressive move. Great cutter right there
Yeah.
from Rich.
Oh,
Yeah.
how do you pull that off? He's doing a lot of moving to his left.
He might have made one too many.
I think so. Was entertaining though. I mean, we're gonna get much better ratings with that type of play.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it isn't good to see the percentage stuff, Coach. I just want
Right.
to make sure I say that.
Nope, that's the right call.
Don't want any hate mail, any more hate mail anyway. I think the advantage we have here with this streaming is that, because I was going to refer to like last week's match,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean just the contrast in play.
Well, you can. Everybody's seen it,
Yes.
so you might as well bring it up.
I mean, and it's the thing is, it is there on YouTube. If in fact you do want to check it out, the reason why I bring it up is there was, well, courtesy of maybe one player. There's a lefty. I was waiting for that. Courtesy of one player that I was just thinking in particular, a guy named Brian Compton, who hits a lot more drives than pretty much anybody I think I've ever seen. Like literally drives, you know, I want to say the majority of his shots. Not that he doesn't lob, but
Yeah, I mean, especially early season warm weather paddle, and with
Yeah.
how good Brian is at
Nice pick.
great move
oh
right
my
there.
God, you gotta love that.
Oh, that was Captain Casual. Oh, geez, great drive and good volley from Rich to come up with that stab. Working hard to keep the net here. Jeremy and Rich are doing a great job kind of forcing these guys to play a lot of shots. And
The other contrast I think is funny is that I don't think Brian's taken more than 1 or 2 steps to his right or left, whereas Paget, I think, has run a half marathon already.
yeah, Paget
He
covers a
likes
lot of
to be moved.
steps.
Yeah, he does like to seem to.
Bruce not happy about
Covers-
that one because he doesn't usually miss that shot. That's the one he was waiting for the entire time, and he really likes that ball. This is going to have to be heavily edited before going out to the CPTC network. It's actually worth mentioning that because of a couple of issues, this is the first time the live stream team has been all together.
That's a good point, Coach.
Yeah, so, you know, we're figuring out a little bit together as we go, which is why we're going to do a full launch after the Chicago Charities. And this is, you know, a good few weeks for us to test the setup and get everything
Exactly.
right. See if we can find a groove a little bit as a group.
If you ever
See
seen
if
one
we
of
can
those,
send Cal to Human Resources. Have
bring-
some conversations
bring them
about the
here at this point.
appropriateness
Yeah,
of
yeah.
certain sound effects.
well, if you've ever seen one of those movies about a rock band or something where one of the members gets left behind, that'll be me. For, you know, like after the first 2 weeks or so.
You know,
Look at this point.
I love that great cutter from Paget. Jeremy handling it like a pro.
Totally.
I love that movie with Marky Mark about the
Oh, sure.
rock star. I think it's
Yeah.
called Rock Star.
Yeah, I think so,
actually.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
absolutely.
great flick, and
It
it's
was.
kind of a guilty pleasure. But I mean, Steel Dragon as that band, another
Sure.
good cutter.
I don't know if you realize
that
it.
was the ball that he wanted. They set it up really well.
We'll come back to paddle directly.
Maybe a little too big, but yeah, I mean
but a
that's
real quick musical anecdote.
interlude. Yeah,
So the guy who did all of the
tough ball.
Anyway, so the gentleman that did the voiceovers for Mark Wahlberg, I met him. His name is Mike Batavik.
Okay.
He was a lead singer for a band called Steel Heart.
Okay, gotcha.
Ironically enough.
I knew there was going to be a bit of an homage to. I mean, that guy was so talented.
Oh,
but are
he's
you trying to
amazing.
tell me that it turns out that Mark Wahlberg did not, in fact, sing?
that.
He didn't do the
I swear
vocals
to
for
you.
that film?
Yeah, I was just as disappointed, and his poster came right off my wall. So yeah, I'm not. I refuse to have that there anymore. I'm sorry, I couldn't handle it.
No, I understand. I kept his poster up after he was, or I put it back up after he was in the Transformers movie. So.
Yes, a classic of sorts.
Snubbed, however, at the Academy Awards yet again. The Transformers films.
You know,
good.
I tell you what, I don't want to attend that Academy. If that's the way it's going to be, you know,
great opportunity from and just too hard a ball in the warm weather. You don't have to go anywhere on a ball.
This is much more of an unusual point, but a lot more aggressive too on both sides of the net here. It's just like, who's going to blink?
So I was talking to a group today, actually, which is kind of unique to this point. But I was mentioning how there is a certain pace threshold, right? How hard you're hitting the ball, where your target has to become a player instead of a spot on the court.
Absolutely.
Oh, good cut from Padgett.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, little backhand snapper. Because if you go for a spot on the court and you hit a monster ball, it is going to come directly back to someone, like it did in that point, where Padgett didn't even move and was able to keep the net. Yeah.
No, I completely understand, and actually, the interesting thing is how it changes. And I mentioned this before, when it gets cold.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a big difference maker. Good play for Padgett to decide to let that go and then recover.
He's there.
Yep, he's the no-look super focus of Padgett Neve, and then lobbing in a drive situation.
Yeah.
Now, my favorite part about playing at Skokie Country Club is that somehow the smoke from the grill, when Padgett's driving forehands, you were in trouble.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
When the smoke from the grill on the burgers can fill up 6 courts somehow, I mean, it's amazing. And we've got a little momentum shift here.
I'm going to say it. I'll say it. He was due one of those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seriously, he's had some bad luck there. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, what I do there.
Yep.
It's almost like I got money on this thing. What am I doing?
Yep. And this is actually kind of cool to see, because I was in the rare
Please
instance
tell me
where...
that wasn't the set.
In the rare instance where I was correct, what happened was Rich and Jeremy got a little bit more aggressive, and it paid off. Right? It started to force a little bit more pressure. It started to turn into some errors where, maybe Padgett and Bruce felt compelled to play more offense because they were getting more high balls off the screen.
For some reason.
More high balls off the screen was my college bar band. Anyway, so look at you know what? You're not wrong, Coach. It looks like it's raining. That's how much smoke's coming off the grill.
No, it's pretty excellent.
That is classic.
Earlier I was talking to Peter, a member here at Skokie in the Hut, who I know quite well, and I told him we were doing a little soft launch for the live stream, and he said, well, that's apropos because soft launch was your nickname in college. And I thought that was a particularly good one. I couldn't even argue with it.
Let's stay in.
Yeah, it stayed in, clipped the line, taking the net. And now they're going to go super conservative here because Bruce and Padgett are tired of losing points to the scramble. So now we're going to see 1 million reset overheads in a row. And I'm going to count for the viewers. 9, 10. A drive from Jeremy out of frustration. Bruce likes it when that happens. 11.
He was set for
Another one.
Look at that.
Yeah, that was maybe a little too much angle,
back.
but again, all the way through the court.
Yep.
Bruce getting out of the way there, playing it like a veteran.
Yes.
Oh, let cord.
Unbelievable
Padgett
hands.
making a move, the aggressive drive stopper.
Again.
Getting out of trouble. Great volley.
Just got to tip your hat. Bow to your sensei. That's what I like to say, Coach. Bow to that sensei. Close to being the first pure Nick overhead.
Yeah, haven't had a ton of nicks tonight. Again, probably having more to do with the general pace of the match, where nobody's like ramping up the speed too much. So not going for nicks, but trying to make people hit from specific targets on the court, which isn't usually going to involve a corner if you're trying to avoid outside edges.
Great
Good
point,
lob.
Coach. Not only that, you can also talk a little bit about the fact that it's not just
You
one
got it.
pace
Great
of a
lob
drive.
from Rich closing in. I love that shot from Rich as he transitions up.
Oh,
And it scraped over the net.
how?
Yeah.
I thought for sure that wasn't even going to make it. But
One
I
of
was
the
gonna
more frustrating parts of the game that sometimes a really short, low-quality dig lob can actually become a problem for the net team because it's so close that you get concerned about.
it spins down quick, too.
Yeah, you get concerned about net contact, and it has
Yep.
the opposite effect. You feel like you should be in charge, and,
And
all
then
of a
there's
sudden.
the smoke you got to deal with. The judgment is off. Probably.
Well, yeah, but I put the smoke machine up, before the match started to add ambiance.
Spooky.
I was talking about the grill, but it was purely because I'm running that fun house on weekends.
Oh, when you said grill, I thought you were talking about my new dental work, but I was.
Yeah,
Is it-
all up in your
look at
grill,
this. Yes,
Sean. That's what I was
exactly.
talking about.
I only have
Yep.
2 or 3 diamonds now. I had to sell a few. Look at the dig.
Great dig from Bruce.
I love that
Yeah,
move
and that's another floater ball
veteran
down at the feet.
move
Yep.
from Paget, where it looks like he's actually going to drive it. Just a little soft.
Such a
poke
nightmare
slice.
when you can get a ball below the net like that and then close, where
Yes.
a volleyer feels like they have to hit a perfect shot or they're feeding it to you.
Exactly.
That's a good play from Bruce to stay back on that ball. Uh-oh.
You got time.
I'm also liking the communication, although we're not really picking it up that well, probably from the shotgun mic, and you can blame that on yours truly. But the idea is you are hearing every so often a certain amount of communication. That was a little low to try to take a swing at it. I'm just going to
That's
be
a tough
critical.
one. But that's exactly what they need to be doing, right? Is kind of finding
Yeah.
that line of aggression. And this is where you're going to see the battle between these two teams, is that Rich and Jeremy have been more successful when they're aggressive, and Bruce and Paget have been more successful playing conservative, and so now
Sure.
they're trying to push each other out of their comfort zone.
Look at that.
Just dropping it in a bucket
smoking.
every time.
Sit.
It did.
Nice. I'm just like the fans that are just teeming into the arena, if you will. I want to see more paddle, so I'm just.
We
always gonna
don't
do-
yet have the financial backing to purchase an arena. But I think Cellular Field is probably
That was
going to be an
creative
opportunity
role.
for us
I
moving
agree.
forward. The
I agree.
CPTC Field
My
is probably what's coming next. It's the next inevitable phase.
my vote is for now that the Bears own Arlington Park. That's where we want to have it, right there.
I live in Arlington Heights, so I'm going to have to pay for that, which is incredible.
You're welcome.
A universal element of unfairness in
It
how
is.
the
It's
world
true.
works, that a billionaire organization where they do nothing but print money somehow can't build their own stadium on their own dime. Really
I am so
excellent,
glad I brought
excellent
this up.
lawmaking and regulation from just the world in general. That
I
that's how that
apologize
works.
unreservedly, Coach.
No, it's not your fault. I'm just using this as an opportunity to, clearly take this outside of paddle and into my own personal politics, which I'm pretty sure is the reason they hired me to run this particular project. They were like, you know what, Matt, people care what you think about nothing, so why don't you just talk about paddle? Great reset from Paget.
It was. Back to the paddle. I like chocolate. Back to the
Little
paddle.
deep. First missed reset overhead there. Little long. 40-15 though. No big deal. Points to give. Said no one ever in paddle.
Well, we do at my level, actually, Coach, and maybe that's why.
And a nick from Bruce at the
There
right
we
time.
go. Finally. Actually, it was kind of interesting. There was the laughter during that nick overhead, so that kind of worked out.
Cal's only setting certain players up to feel bad about themselves in the replay. So,
And yet I felt bad since the start of the match about myself.
hey, can you remind me, by the way, that we do have to figure out the instant replay? Because I know that there's a way to do it, and I have been able to buffer it
Yeah, I
successfully.
was going to use the
but
word buffer somewhere
we
along the
have
line.
to figure out. This is a legitimate question for the stream team. We have to figure out the correct amount of time in order for it to go back and replay. Because paddle is one of these things where, unless it was the last shot, if you're trying to clip something that was in the middle of a point, it could have been 2 minutes ago.
It's a little long. That serve, by the way.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
It's a great
I
question.
think we'll definitely be able to get some
Stream will figure it out.
live replays going for sure. Not me, because technologically I'm a moron, but you guys can figure it out.
Our
guaranteed.
morons as well. Yes, thank you. But I've been working.
Team of morons.
Well, and we have been covering this the entire time. The second set is much tighter, courtesy of I don't even understand that one, but courtesy, and I am a moron though, so I guess it doesn't matter. But courtesy of Paget. Oh, what a shot again!
Another that low floater
Call that a
drive that
knockdown?
drops below the net. And again, the error doesn't come from the shot itself. It comes from Paget creeping forward
Exactly.
as though he's going to cut off the next ball. That is much tougher to deal with.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's a great
Really
poke
good.
and a good shift from Jeremy to just always be in front of the ball.
It's reaching a little bit.
This is another forehand drive from Paget,
Here's
which I
the
think
funny
we can
thing,
all
though.
agree is not a good decision.
Probably not. It's just that, and I'm going to say this because he is a really good athlete. Sometimes you get away, look at that. Sometimes you get away with things because you figure, I just kind of, I'm going to try to get away with this because I can.
Yeah.
And that's where some of the decision making, it's not even so much that he couldn't. Maybe he can, but the percentages are, probably not.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. That's a good move from Bruce, keeping that one low.
Is that
And
it?
we've got match. Yep. Skokie Country Club in 2 sets. Really good
I feel like
battle back there.
I jinxed that one, Coach, because you know what I said. It's much more competitive, and what happened? Next time I'll just stop with that kind of commentary. I'll get political that way.
Well, I mean, if we were going to quit while we were ahead, we wouldn't be announcing, in the first place. So
that's a good point.
So I think we have a certain amount of clearance to figure it out as we
Maybe
go.
that's why I never quit, because I'm never ahead. That's probably what it is.
Well, everybody, thanks for joining us for this Court
Absolutely.
1 Series 3 match here at Skokie Country Club in Glencoe, Illinois.
Yes.
We're going to do another one here if you want to stick around, mostly for our own personal edification.
We have a special guest, though, aren't we, Coach?
Managing the live stream, and Paget Neve will be jumping in as a guest announcer, as the director of the program. He's going to talk a little bit about Skokie. And he's really proud of a new pair of slacks he got over the weekend. So I think we're going to hear about that as well.
But who isn't?
We will be back in a few minutes. Stick around.
Take care.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're back for our Court 2 match. These guys warmed up faster than I could go to the bathroom and get back. And, Rich, you want to tell us a little bit about your team over there on the far side? Who do you like? Well, I guess they're rotating over here now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, we have Greg Miller on the outside. Bring it, partner. Rich Lerner, who's never seen a forehand he doesn't like.
That's
on
a
the forehand
perfect
side.
representation of Rich.
And I'm sure we'll see some of that. The
So we're
points-
bringing some fireworks.
Yeah, this is a very offensive team, and they're smart. We'll see.
Lots of blitzing and moving from these guys.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of blitzing, a lot of drop shots, and my over/under if it goes 3 sets is about 40 minutes.
Excellent. Looks like we're getting home early, Sean. It's a good place to be. Well, Peter Taylor serving over there on the far side, a staple of the Skokie Country Club paddle program.
It's not always a good time or a good night if I get home early, Coach. So, just so you know.
Depends on the situation.
Exactly. Can I say the cuisine here is outstanding?
Yeah, they make a good burger, and I got to tell you that Justo's fajitas, chicken fajitas, are otherworldly.
Well, if I'm allowed back for seconds, yeah.
I don't know. Did you pay your dues?
In what sense? In what sense? Well, who said the over/under was 40 minutes?
Rich Lund just said the over/under was 40 minutes. Yep, we're unfortunately a couple of quick games in, it looks like, with Skokie up.
Yes, nice lob. A little lefty magic there.
I don't mind that decision, though. Probably needs another step, but not a bad call.
Remember earlier preparation too, maybe, Coach?
Yeah, and I think, again, first couple of games, everybody's going to feel everybody out, try to play their style. They're, obviously, like Rich said, Northmoor's going to take their swings and pull the trigger. Lots of movement on the ball because Peter Taylor over there making contact on the deuce side is a lefty. So they're going to try to... They're probably going to kick some more balls over to that corner than they would normally because they're trying to work a backhand. Now, little do they know that Peter
Awesome
can
lob.
drive a backhand.
Awesome
Great lob. That Peter can drive a two-handed backhand if he wants to. It was a nice little hybrid shot.
I noticed that when he was warming up,
Yep.
Coach.
Yep, so it could go either way. Great screen drive there, keeping his balance there from Greg.
That is a good burger, dude. Anyway. I'm just saying.
All right, Padgett, let's go.
Look how excited he is to get over here.
Super excited to be on the microphone, Padgett Neve. I needed to mention this as well as a favor to a former teammate, Paul Johnson, tonight of Skokie Series 3 team, won in 2 sets.
That's right.
And it wasn't on the live stream. You probably caught a little bit of it on the outside
ESPN,
court.
maybe.
Great ball from Peter there.
What a
And a
dig.
good transition dig.
Points never over.
And I think you probably could see Paul just absolutely dismantle the Northmoor team on the other side. No idea what the score was. He just told me he won in 2 sets.
There's the definition of taking a shot. Right there.
Pulling the
Wide
trigger.
Serve. Hey, you know what?
Yep.
It's a shorter line down the
Yep.
line. Let's take it.
Great return, getting on top of that ball.
Got a lot of Michigan alumni here. Or just fans.
Yeah,
Or just fans.
see a lot of Michigan. See a lot of Northwestern.
Yeah.
It's a little weird. It's kind of cultish.
It's a good year to be Michigan. So far.
Yeah, for sure.
He plays it.
Or Iowa.
That's a good point, Coach.
Good volleys from these guys here.
Really good hands.
Stay low and defensive and make some shots.
Again, some lefty magic. Look at that thing bounce.
Good hands.
He's all of about 6'10", I think.
Rick Hilscher. Yeah. Yep. You know, some people like to ask him if he played basketball, and I'm pretty sure his go-to response is, "No, I'm a paddle player." And then they say, "What's that?" And then he explains it, and then people are more confused when they started. So I think he's just started saying, "Yes, I played basketball." Yeah, that's the go-to. I do remember that occasionally as a teaching pro is having to explain to friends and family at parties, "What are you doing now?" "I'm a platform tennis professional." And they say, "What's that?" And then I explain it, and I show them a video, and they're like, "You mean like ping pong?" And then I say, "Yes."
Just to relate, there's that drive you were talking about.
Great rip from Peter there.
That's just surprising power. Good touch. Not easy to do off the deck off a serve like that.
Nope. Bit of a high ball there from Peter, but he did tell me before the match started that he was trying to hit someone in the throat.
At least he admits it.
He likes to get off the court in 28 minutes one way or the other. I don't know what he meant by that. Great lob.
Yeah, the only
good eye.
The only pause will be for the EMT coming in there for the
right, yeah. Which really would be, kind of a very minor inconvenience as people continue to play the matches around.
They just,
everyone else.
Yeah, you know what? They could have like a World Team Tennis format where you could sub people in and just carry the guy out in the middle of the match while it's going on. I mean, let's face it, the match could continue to go. They just take the gurney.
It would be like a Scott Sterling video where somebody just keeps getting hit in the face even though they're laying down.
I always thought that stuff was entertaining.
I always enjoyed it. I think the volleyball one was the best. Where he's already unconscious, but they prop him up in order to block the spike. It's kind of what this paddle match is about to feel like, I think.
Yeah, the same kind of skit, not that we're digressing a little too much here, but Mad TV with a Kenny Rogers skit. I don't remember. I think it was Will Sasso as Kenny Rogers.
Yeah, you're right.
He would get hit 4, 5, 6 times in a row.
Right. And then he would just be reeling from... You just clearly have several concussions on top of each other.
I don't know why that's funny, but anyway.
I think just Will Sasso doing anything is pretty entertaining.
He's pretty funny, that guy. He's a very funny man.
Oh, the paddle hut shifting to mood lighting in here. That's always nice.
Well, you know what? I get romantic after hamburgers, so let's be careful.
Great drive.
So I kind of miss the smoke off the grill, though. I'm missing that now.
Yeah. That last one, that's where this team, righty-lefty combo, always has to be a little careful with a lefty kind of dumping balls into that deuce corner because it can come back to burn you
and when
quickly.
When he switches, there's peripheral vision right there. You're going to see him switch.
Yes.
If they switch sides. We do have the score here, Coach, right? We're talking, is it 4-1? He's going to track that down. Look at this.
Great pick.
Awesome.
Now, whichever team is willing to slow it down the most. Oh, good ball into the nick.
Bottle those up.
Yep. That was a good time. Good time for that ball.
Absolutely.
Solid return. Tough to call.
That's
it's dipping as it comes in.
No question. Some nice top on that thing. Uh-oh. Concentration.
Robbed by the tape.
I'm going to say it, Coach. I know there's usually a
little bit of a home court advantage, Sean.
Can I explain that to everybody? But before I do, I think I even mentioned it earlier in another telecast possibly, but I'm a big fan of rhythm on the serve. And you do get into a rhythm, and if the rhythm that you have is quick, in other words, you step up and you just hit it, you don't wait. I think it's great. But if you've missed more than 2 or 3, you probably have to slow it down.
I'm
just saying.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right.
I mean, heck, we do that in the tennis court. We got 2 serves, you know?
It's definitely one of the things that can be so difficult in the world of paddle, because if you're a person who has that rhythm where you like to go a little quicker, great nick into that side by Rich there. It's in the world of paddle, because it's a shorter motion. If you start going quick, it can really spiral out of control on you fast.
Exactly.
And so there is an element to, yes, rhythm is important, and taking your time can be of even more value in the world of paddle, because you don't have big giant swings usually to create that sense of rhythm.
And I'm not being critical by saying that. I mean, if you miss a serve, it's fine. It's just sometimes it just looks like it's rushed, and maybe they're just trying to catch up with the rhythm that they feel. But it's kind of like, hey, nobody's going anywhere. There's no fire.
I like that. I like that serve rhythm though.
So do I. No, he's moving it. That's fine. He seems to have a nice rhythm. I'm just saying, if you do miss a few, I believe in changing it up. All right, so Rich is going to get a chance to serve again here. What did the set score? I'm not really sure.
No, yeah, they started so quickly as we were getting ready to start up the stream that they may have gotten a game or 2 in before we got them. That's okay. We're going to put that on Cal moving forward. He's going to be the score guy.
We've been putting it on Cal anyway, even when he wasn't here. It's always been... darn that we were calling you an intern, actually.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Actually, we didn't say Cal the intern. We just said intern. I'm
Great
just
return.
saying now it's in.
Yeah, Cal doesn't know, but he's been fake fired 3 or 4 times because, if something goes wrong and someone's not here, well, it's clearly their fault.
The thing is, he's been collecting unemployment like 4 or 5 times.
I always felt like that was a veteran move, in the world of
speed.
Nice
Look
shot. Peter recovering. Good play.
Look at the lefty
That's
magic
tough.
off that.
Really good dig and transition ball there. It's important, I think, in the world of customer service to have a fake employee in your pipeline that you can fire as needed.
Absolutely.
What's the problem with this? Oh, I'm sorry. That's Johnny. He needs to go.
Speaking from the actual firee perspective, I can tell you that you're absolutely right, Coach.
Do you think Rick Hilscher is tall enough where if he really spiked a serve, he could bounce it over the back screen?
I don't think there's any question about it.
I think it's possible.
The funny thing is, he's not really even hitting a kick serve.
No, he's just kind of, he must
flat.
be reining it in because I think
Yeah.
He's got a direct line down into the court.
I think there's no question about it. That's a nonstop
If he ever gets
flight
if he gets his waterfall ramped up, I think you're going to see a
incredible
new angle on the court that's never been developed.
I think our guest commentator's ready, Coach.
Great. Do you want him to take my spot or yours?
No. Yeah, I think you two need to do some reminiscing.
Okay, well, that seems a little dangerous, but I guess we'll go ahead and give it a try.
All right, hold on one second.
All
Here
right,
we go.
Padgett, get in here.
This is...
You're going green mic right here.
This has been disinfected.
Just put the headphones on?
Yeah.
Just put the headphones on and then talk into a microphone. Oh, a let cord clipper.
Smell nice.
That's good. You're doing great. Yep.
Get right in there.
Pretend like it's 2021. Yeah. All right. So here I'm sitting with Padgett Neve, the director here at Skokie Country Club. He's responsible for everything that is happening right now, good and bad, across the board. Not just at Skokie, but in the world. So if there's any conflicts going on in multiple countries, I mean, you can either thank him or damn him, one of the two. So how'd your match go?
It went real well. Real well. You saw it. Patience.
I did.
Lobbing. Boredom.
Mm-hmm. The winning combination in the world of paddle.
Make the other team feel like they don't want to play paddle anymore.
Right.
That's the only way I've ever won a match.
Great volley. That's good, because when we used to work together here at Skokie, not only did I feel like I didn't want to play paddle anymore, but I didn't want to work here anymore.
That was both the on-court and off-court stuff that we had going on.
It was by design. I think it was probably the greatest gift you could have ever given me.
What did you think about our match? Am I going to have to watch the Watch the replay and get your critiques.
Yeah, no, I thought you guys played great. I thought there was a little momentum swing. Rich and Jeremy, when they started to ramp up a little bit more offense from the net, I thought they pressured you guys enough into making a couple mistakes where they were able to, gain a bit of a foothold. And then when you guys slowed it down again, that was the key to victory.
No, it was. I agree. I thought it was a really solid match for early season, warm weather, lots of long points. We had a real good time out there, and I thought they played well. They volleyed really well. I thought they hit some overheads that were somewhat suspect, giving us some opportunities to hit some good
screen drives.
Shots. Yeah, good offensive shots. Screen drives, especially for Bruce from the deuce corner.
Which is Bruce's bread and butter.
His specialty, really,
Yeah.
but they volleyed so well. We weren't getting a whole lot out of it. How's this match going so far? What are we at?
It's going fast.
Keeping
Not 100% sure of the
score
score is that's a little bit difficult. That's why I was
so difficult.
joking/blaming Cal. That's why we have a team of 3, because we're definitely going to have one person just on top of the scoreboard all the time. Next week we're launching our live scoring app as well, so that people can keep track.
How's that going to work?
It's just going to end up going in the corner like the APTA live stream during tournaments, where you got the game score and the set score.
Nice.
But we're going to have to obviously stay on top of it, because it's there's no easy way to do the input of tennis or paddle scoring, as you know. And it's unnecessarily complicated. Why do you think tennis and paddle operates under a 15, 30, 40 add-in, add-out score system? Do you have a story that you tell to members?
I don't have a story, but I think I've heard you talk about it. And I still can't remember what you said. I do know that here at Skokie on Series 3, formerly Series 2, this team has been together forever. We have a player by the name of Bruce McKinnon, who I played with tonight, who is the greatest scorekeeper of all time. He can have a conversation. He can be the one talking primarily in the conversation. He can be drinking a beer, and then he can tell you the score on 3 different courts. And I'm not kidding.
I believe you.
It's amazing.
It's incredible. He's got a Rain Man thing going on for sure.
I can be sitting
Instead
by
of counting
myself.
toothpicks, he just knows what the score is in paddle matches. That's a great touch right there from
That is the big guy.
Yeah.
The big cat with the soft hands.
Yeah. I think I had a version that I told people, which is completely fabricated, that because tennis was a sport of British royalty, that of course the scoring was based on the millimeters of cannon mounts that were on British warships.
That's the one.
That one's my favorite.
That's the one. I believed
15,
that one.
30,
I believed
40.
That.
That's
And
why
I
it
still
doesn't
thought
go that way. Yeah, no, that's clearly the reason that it is, that way.
So my wife is playing paddle for the first time this year.
Oh, that's great. Sam
is
is getting in there.
yeah, she is. Monday night, Wilmette, and she doesn't know how the scoring works. She didn't grow up playing tennis. And so I was trying to explain it to her, and she looked at me and she's like, why do they do the scoring like that? And the first thing I thought of was what you said about that like 10 years ago.
I don't know how many people I've screwed up with that.
I thought about explaining it to her the way you explained it, and I couldn't. It was too complicated for me, too, so I didn't. I mean, I like that you make up different stories and they just kind of travel around as rumors.
Yeah, it's more fun that way. That's a great return right there. Yeah, I think at some point I also had another one that it was actually based on Egyptian mathematics, and so the different angles of the pyramids and how they built them. That was another important one.
That's good.
15, 30, and 40 degrees were really the big ones.
I love it. It looks like we got a first set down. Did you see who won?
Yeah, we are down 1 set here if you're viewing it from the perspective of Skokie Country Club. If you are cheering for Northmoor, you are way ahead and probably with no chance to catch up.
How many inches tall do you think Rick Hilscher is?
Rick Hilscher is 981 inches tall.
That's right.
Exactly right. It's the perfect amount of inches to be tall.
You should play more than once every year.
So who do we have on the docket for next week? Do you know where you're headed to
It
next?
sounds like we're going to have a team that is going to come. Glen Ellen is going to possibly come up to Lakeshore, is what I have in the docket.
I think you
Although
should
I still
head
have
out
to get confirmation from those guys.
You should consider heading out to Hawthorne Woods,
I love that place.
and then you should head out to Glen Ellen,
They've got a nice little. We should just do a circle, and then we should go to Milwaukee.
and you should go to Danville.
All right, we're going to take a quick break for the Illinois Bone and Joint commercials here, and we'll be right back.
From the heart of Chicago up to the North Shore and stretching from the northwest suburbs down to Kankakee. From urgent in-office care to virtual in-home visits, we're making orthopedic care available wherever and however you need it. Because while we're adapting our lives to keep each other safe, we know that new injuries will happen and old injuries will still linger. And IBJI is here to help.
Are we back?
And we're live for the second set.
All right, so we've got Rick Hilscher and Peter Taylor going down 6-4 in the first set, according to Bruce McKinnon, the
Who's never been wrong.
world's best scorekeeper.
And now up 30-love serving here on this side. We're going to remain laser beam focused, although these points are going quick, and I feel like that makes it harder.
Sorry to break in, Coach, but I think that score-keeping app is probably more for us than anybody else at this point.
It probably is. The announcers are going to struggle to go back and forth between conversation and scoring. Everybody at home is like, clearly that was 6-4.
Just thought I could.
You morons.
Sorry, I just thought it would. I just found it humorous. Sorry.
Yep.
Court 5 is open, and that's the one we're looking at. Nobody's playing on it.
Let's get a score out there.
Oh, big drive from the
drive
big
from
cat.
Rick. Now, during that stream, I don't know if he's going to go back and watch it. Good dig again. I did start calling Bruce McKinnon the Red Rocket. Do you think he's going to appreciate that, or is that? Do you think that's too far?
Well, we do have a 1-year-old dog, and that hasn't been neutered, and we hear that a lot from my daughters.
Okay, gotcha.
So I don't know how much he's going to like that one, but let's keep it going.
Okay.
Let's see how long he can handle it.
It's probably tonight is pretty much it.
Well, again, the
Heavy serve.
the NFL namesake, the guy is he's very well paid. He just doesn't play a lot.
Right.
So
Right.
Maybe it doesn't
Ultimately,
apply.
isn't that the contract we're all going for, is to be retired and have an organization still owe you $5 million? Isn't that?
hit the wrong button there. Fire Sean Albrecht.
These are some big forehands.
Yeah,
coming
there's
in
a
from
bunch
the
of
Northmoor
rocket
side.
returns going on this court right now.
The big guy. What do you think, Matt? Tell me what you think about a serve from a big guy. Is it a weakness to be a tall server, or is it a strength?
No,
Would you-
I think it depends a little bit on the circumstance, but because Rick is so tall and he's able to get the ball kind of in and out of somebody's strike zone so quickly, I think it can really be an advantage because it's not an angle that you see very often. So it feels a little weird to try to get on top of the ball with your return. With that said, if somebody starts to groove their rhythm on that return, that is probably not going to benefit you to leave the ball that high all the time. They're going to be able to find shoelaces.
Right, I would agree. I
With
think
their
the same
returns.
is true on the overhead. A lot of these men and women in our team clinics are talking about the tall player at the net and what a benefit it is to be tall and have that reach on the overhead. And I tell them, tall players have that high contact point and come down on the ball so often they leave it short.
Right.
And tend to give you a drivable ball if you step up and get your toes up on the baseline. You're ready for it.
Right. You're also going to see a lot more balls be a screen drive opportunity coming off that person's paddle, right? Just because it rises that much more. when it makes contact with that back screen.
That's right.
So another good one if players are looking for that
So I guess what
particular
we're
shot.
saying is, me being 6'3", 6'4", you being the same height, we've had to overcome that adversity.
Right, that tall
Very
player
difficult.
adversity. Yeah, it would be a huge benefit to be shorter. I
Right.
would say.
I can think of a couple of really short guys who have done really well at the national level, and gosh darn it, they're lucky they're short.
Yeah.
Low contact
Huge
on the
advantage.
overhead. They're not playing the out ball on the drive that's going long. They don't even have to bend their knees. They're already down there.
Right. Digging balls off the screens is that much easier. I mean, they don't have to make too much happen.
So it's a short man's game.
It really is. Yeah, it's one of the rare ones. This and being a jockey in horse racing. Those are the two. These are the
Very
two
similar.
sports, right, where it's just such an advantage. Great lob.
They're not even a good target. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're so small, you can't even try to headhunt. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work out.
Yeah, no. I totally agree.
There was a former Chicago Cubs baseball player, Augie Ojeda, really tiny guy, and it was tough to throw a strike on that guy. Such a little guy.
Well, especially because his batting stance was to lay on his back. So
he had these small hands.
yeah, it was just really difficult to make anything happen.
That was a scandal year.
It must have been.
Anything laying on the back is usually a scandal year.
Yeah, no, agreed. I feel like that's one of those things, as my kids get into sports and in the world of Little League, is I just want umps to start calling strikes when anything is close, because some of those kids have such small strike zones. They're like, oh, you can walk every time, just never swing at anything.
Right.
And what's the point?
Right, and don't you wish those games were 1 inning long?
I think the slaughter rule should be 3. Anything within 3 runs, you're like, well, clearly they're killing them. Let's just move on.
All right, so we got 1-1, if my math is correct.
And I assume that it is, because it's your program and you have a home court advantage.
Now, if you saw Rick Hilscher there was too much separation between body and screen. We were working on that today, all week long. You got to get your body to the screen. You got to get your paddle low and open, or as Eric Moran says, lopin'.
Lopin', right?
Lopin'.
He's so creative.
He is one of the greatest. Coach Richards, another small guy, lefty. Incredible overhead. Contact below the level of the net.
Yep. Then he can bounce a ball 11 to 15 times before he serves, which I think is an underrated skill. See, the Peter Taylor there only bounced it twice. That doesn't, he got away with the point anyway, but that's neither here nor there. All right, so 2 serving 1, 15 love.
Solid momentum for the SCC gentlemen.
Yep. Tough ball to drive there. If you're going to pull a trigger on that one, you probably got to put it in Hilscher's chest.
It's kind of tough when you start hot and you win the first set or the first 3 or 4 games with driving, and then you start to lose a little steam.
Yeah.
And you got to shift gears into a more patient mode that's just like you want to take the easy road and just finish it quick.
Yeah.
And it leads to some errant drives from tough spots.
I feel like I've played matches in which the 2 back-to-back sets couldn't have been more different,
right,
style-wise in that regard. Where it's like the first set I can come out swinging and just be putting big balls in play, and then all of a sudden the second set I have to go back to lobbing 100% of the time, or I can't figure out how to put points together. That really says more about my skill set than anything else, though, if you think about it.
Coach,
I have
exactly as a point anyway.
Where's Cal to give us the definition of what a point is?
I should be doing that.
That's a tough ball to switch on.
Kind of my role.
Peter trying to get in position so that they can put their overheads in the middle, and pushing that one a little wide. Probably better to dump down the middle of the court.
I have the benefit of understanding that I don't drive the ball well, and I've accepted that, I think, on day 2 of playing paddle.
That's earlier than most.
So then I just say to myself, well, if you're going to win here, you're going to lob, and you're going to lob some more, and that's it.
And then you're going to lob again.
And if you keep lobbing, you just can't lose.
Yeah.
I'll never forget one of my greatest. Well, this is one of the greatest paddle moments for Coach Eric Moran and I. When we played together many years ago, we were playing against Coach Michael Rahaley.
Of Exmoor Country Club
yes,
fame.
In Indianapolis in a tournament. Coach Mike Raleigh and John Huff. And they were a solid team at the time, and we were just kind of getting going. And we lost the first set 6-2. And I said to Eric, if we really want to win this match, we're going to have to lob every ball for the rest of the match. And, of course, you know what Eric said.
He said, okay.
I already do that anyway, so let's do it. Let's continue. And that is what we did. And we won the next 2 sets. Yeah, they were close and long. And Mike was not. I think Mike still remembers that one. That was one of the most, probably worst 2 hours of his life on the battle court.
But when you think about it, unfortunately, isn't that one of the goals of paddle, is to make someone feel like this is the worst 2 hours of my life?
Right. That's my point. That's my only goal.
Right.
That's my only goal. That's how you're going to get somebody to hit shots they wouldn't normally hit and make errors.
I remember when I was first getting into the sport, that was a big swing from Peter. I liked it. When I came over and I was working with you, and we would play, some training games and stuff, and you would legitimately say, and mean it, I want someone to quit because of me.
Well, that was almost Mike 10 years ago.
And that was your mentality. And I couldn't tell, because I didn't know you well enough at the time, if that was like I wasn't working out as an assistant pro, so you were trying to lay the groundwork to me giving my 2 weeks notice.
Yep, that's what you got to do.
By the way, the definition of quit is to leave, usually permanently, a place or behave in a specific way. Quit yourself like that fight. Just wanted to throw it in there.
Yeah, that checks out.
Think about future Hall of Famer Jay Woldenberg.
A local legend, a local Chicago legend.
And Matt, I know you think about him a lot, but think about him in terms of paddle. And the guy, that's what he does. He just makes you really consider if you want to play next week.
if you're going to play next season or not. Oh.
He's been responsible for certain players playing less matches for the remainder of the year.
Ending their career.
Season. Even if it's not a full ending, it's, I'm not sure how much I'm going to play next year.
Good play by Rick there. Yeah, no, I actually really enjoy it, because paddle's one of those things where, like, I, as a player, am someone's rock bottom, right? Where people are like, I lost a match to Matt McClure, and I can't believe that happened. And it's like one of their greatest regrets in the sport. And I just really enjoy that can happen at almost any level to anyone in this particular game.
Right. It's an interesting game. That kind of thing doesn't really happen on a tennis court. If someone's going to blow you out of the water, that's what's happening.
Right.
On a paddle court, you can just kind of
you can somehow find your way into matches that you have no business competing with someone on and maybe on an athletic level.
Did you guys know that paddle is a game of errors?
I'd heard that somewhere. I don't teach it that way because I want job security. So I just usually tell people to hit the ball as hard as they can every time. But tell me more about this idea of the game being errors.
Well, I said that as a joke, but in all seriousness, you may remember that article in Paddle Pro. Is it Platform Tennis Magazine?
Yeah, there
Jeez
you go.
Louise, Coach Pabbage.
That's all right. We'll cut this out.
So Graham McNierney had that study he did on those national tournaments. Yeah, I think it was quarterfinals, semifinals, finals. He did the stats, and I think the best players at the time, which was I think Jared Palmer, Drew Broderick, their stats in those top matches, the most important matches, they had their error to winner ratio was like 4-1. somewhere around there,
Right.
4-1, 3-1, and that was, well, I think Palmer might have been the best, and that was maybe roughly 3-1. I could be wrong by just a bit, but that was the absolute tops. I mean, and that's still a 3-1 error to winner ratio. I mean, think about that.
Right.
There's not a lot of winners to be had out here, and you know, people talk about those big overheads, the spin overheads. I mean, even the top players who can hit those aren't really hitting them that often in those important matches. It's just not happening.
It is always fascinating to see how different matches go at that level when the score is 2-1 in the first set as opposed to 4-all in the third.
Right.
That is
right.
very different dynamics if you go back and you watch some national tournaments. How that's just not the go-to style very often. Once in a while, you'll see it, from a couple of select teams. But for the most part, it is, different dynamics.
I just had a weekly match tip the other day on patience, and I sent a link to that video that came out last year from that Detroit men's tournament where those guys played that, 10-minute point or whatever it was. And today, some of the women were commenting on it like, oh my God, my husband and I watched that whole thing. It's like, I'm shocked that you got through the whole thing. But when you start watching, you're kind of like, is this really happening? And God, I mean, you take some of those pro flight tournaments. Watching, it was a great tiebreaker last year or the year before with Adam Morgan and Tyler Frazier against Durant and Mitchell, where they're just on and on and on and on and on. And we're talking about, Adam Morgan, as Chicago paddle goes, I mean, you'd think, okay, this guy can drive just about anything.
Right.
And he's lobbing 95% of the shots, if not more.
Right.
It's for a reason. I mean, clearly, it's everybody's
still just,
watching what I do, and then they're doing what I do. That's what's happening out here.
It's just going to remain a huge part of the game. I love how casual Rick was with that pickup, by the way, on the first volley. Just able to keep that backhand going and be in the right position.
He is very still up at the net. Just is very still, just the hands slightly moving. He's a good chicken wing volleyer, that's for sure. There. Oh, wow. Good timing, Coach Padgett.
No, it's the commentator's curse. You're going to have to get used to it. You mention something, and then the opposite happens. Because the gods of paddle want you to look stupid. Peter working his leftyism.
Matt, do you agree that lefties are just a little bit stranger than everybody
different
else?
Breed? Well, it does make me uncomfortable that they have to use a different pair of scissors, and
the scissors
they had
thing.
specialty desks when we were growing up in grade school so that they could write correctly.
That's right.
And I've got a couple of kids that are lefties, and they're weird. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you on that one.
You got two lefties?
I got two lefties in my family.
I guess the chances aren't that.
And they say statistically that lefties are more intelligent, but they also say statistically that McClures are less intelligent. So I'm going to be lucky if they break even.
The definition of depression, by the way, Coach, is feelings of severe despondency and rejection. Just thought I'd let you.
Good, great. Something that paddle can make you feel all the time.
Golf takes care of that during the summer.
Right, and then you transition to paddle in the winter. We talked about this briefly when this match first started, but you're seeing this team, this Northmoor team, swing the ball around an awful lot because they've got a righty-lefty combo with backhands on the outside edges of the court, which probably is ill-advised in the realm of traditional paddle. Probably would use a little more middle, but because they're dealing with backhands, although that was a pretty impressive slapper from Rick there. And it is interesting to see because both of these guys, I think both Peter and Rick, do like to drive some backhands. It's not like it's their weaker shot, although that one's just dying in the corner.
Peter definitely has a big backhand.
Yeah, he likes that one.
I think he likes to be on the ad side so he can get some of those in the middle. Maybe Rick is a little more comfortable on the ad. That's why they're set up this way. Nice smooth drive.
Yep. Just making them play.
It's just amazing.
Oh, Peter, nice try. That would have been cool for the highlight reel.
The willingness to hit overheads down the middle is just, which is the safer shot, the easier shot. You'd think you'd see more of it at the mid to lower levels, but you see less of it.
Right.
You see a lot of high risk.
Right.
It's just, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep it going there.
Yeah, it's difficult.
I think I remember, so the match we just played, Bruce and I, our first point probably lasted about 2.5 minutes, and then in the second point I hit the second overhead wide.
Wasting all of your hard work and investment.
I said to those guys, well, that's because we played a long point on the first point.
It was already exhausted.
You guys that had long-term benefits, that long point.
Decision fatigue.
Right. Everybody's got a shot clock. If you got an opponent who's going to hit one dumb shot for every 20 shots they hit, in theory, all you need to do is make them hit 20 shots every point.
21. Right. Yep. Super difficult part of the game. Great swing there off the screen drive. But super difficult part of the game, convincing people that the next level is just about making 5 more balls in the middle. Right? So whatever series you're playing and you kind of play what you think is a long point, if you can add 5 shots to it, you're going to be that much more successful at the next level. Great pick.
So I'm going to interject this. I just think it's relatively interesting. It's kind of a topical for those of you in sales out there. Occupationally, I've gone through a lot of interviews, probably more than I'd like to admit because I've probably been fired more than I would like to admit. But they always tell you when you walk into an interview, they'll say, how much do you want to make next year? And you never give them a number. You'll always say, there is no amount of money. I want to make as much as possible. So the question is, how many balls can you hit back? It's more like, hey, there is no amount.
Right, there's no number.
There's no patience tolerance, Coach.
Yeah, and
or coaches, I should say.
The paddle purist will never have a problem, with shot clock, so to speak, and instead just kind of what's the right number, whatever it takes to win a point.
Exactly, Coach.
Yeah, going along with that point, which is a good one, I think it's, if you, I don't know how many times we've all been to watch, a charities, quarterfinals, semifinals, or nationals, and you walk over, they're warming up, they start to play, and you're thinking, okay, look at these 4 guys or these 4 ladies, and they're all amazing. Nobody ever makes errors, so how's this match ever going to end, right? This is going to be a 6-hour match, right?
Right.
And then it's like, okay, the first 5 games are, 40 minutes, and then the next 8 games are like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because eventually one team is like, okay, you win. I'm not doing that anymore.
Right. I'm going to shift gears and try to blow you off the court because that's where I feel like I need to be.
Right, and that leads to a quick loss. Just got to show the other team you'll go forever and ever and ever and ever.
I love that. Don't see that very often. Probably don't see it enough in the world of paddle. Somebody not liking their toss and catching it and doing it again.
Peter's got a pretty high toss in the paddle world.
Yeah, he does. But it's probably one that's still a lot of fault errors are toss related, and there's not enough people that are willing to recognize like, oh, that's not the one I wanted, and then make an adjustment. On the upside, we've got the smoke from the grill back to help motivate these players.
That, Coach, I don't know what to tell you. I just wanted to chime in and say I'm almost emotional about seeing the smoke again.
Have you guys had one of Husto's medium rare burgers?
I have not, because I went with the Justo special of the chicken fajita.
Oh,
I'm just going to tell you, it's paradise.
Paradise.
He's just going to tell you. He's just
It's
going to tell you.
utopia. If there is I'm going to look up the definition of utopia, and it's one of his
If
burgers.
there's a heaven, it's a medium rare Justo burger.
I agree. The one thing they do at Evanston, which we just recalled a few minutes before I jumped on here with you guys, is they put their chocolate chip cookies under a heat lamp, keep them nice and warm. And I remember it was either last year or the year before, must have been the year before. I bet I ate 19 of those chocolate chip cookies.
How much of it do you think was because of the heat lamp and them being warm versus your just like complete lack of self-control when it comes to chocolate?
So the heat lamp had a little bit to do with it. But my willpower after 9 p.m. being at a 0 out of a 1 to 10 scale had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
I start off so strong. Just have some coffee, have a shake, have some veggies.
Right.
You know, and then
That's
just
why the
goes-
key to fitness is to go to bed early.
You're right. Tired.
Not
no
for most
willpower.
people, just me personally.
Do you think that maybe because they were warm, you could eat more of them?
I think so. You mean sort of like one of those
Yeah.
eating contests, like soaking your hot dog?
I'm just trying to
think so.
figure out a theory here, Coach. I mean, I've done a lot of eating.
No, you're right.
No, really, I have.
You're 100% correct, because like a fresh pizza, for example, I can probably eat 20 pieces of I'm talking
that's what I mean.
square slices of pizza when it's hot and warm.
That's what I
And then
mean.
the next day, if I were to have 3 pieces of cold pizza, I'm like, I feel terrible. I'm
Right.
stuffed.
Right.
Now, granted, I probably shouldn't be eating that all of the pizza in the same 12-hour period, but I can't help myself.
Why do I do this? Have you ever, I mean, and when you have that, why am I doing this to myself thought while you're chewing, that's when it's just the worst.
Did I mention
Right.
the definition of depression?
The definition of depression is eating after
That was
9:30
Cal's
p.m.
joke, actually. So. Speaking of counting, do we know what the score is?
You know what? Let's ask Bruce McKinnon.
We'll get a Bruce McKinnon score update.
We should have Bruce call in from over in the other side of the paddle hut.
From the hut. Longtime listener, first time caller, Bruce McKinnon.
I think I've got a Skokie 4-3 feeling.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
But on Thursdays with the ladies, I always walk over. Whenever I walk over to a new spot, new court vision area
On match
they'll
day?
say, what do you think about the score? And I'll give them what I feel based on usually like the look on somebody's face and 1 point I saw, and it's never right.
And it's never correct.
It's usually very wrong, like maybe like a whole set off.
Wow, that's a crack right there from Peter.
It's not nearly as bad as the great Mac Reynolds, Skokie legend, tennis and paddle hero here at Skokie, who's an incredible player but has no idea how to keep score, even when he's the one on the court. Even if he's the server, he struggles, and he'll admit it. He does sometimes hang a mini abacus over his neck, kind of like a necklace abacus.
Right, just to be able to keep score with.
Exactly.
Yeah. In a rare instance when I had the chance to play with him, I feel like it was incredible because he was off by multiple games.
So did you see what just happened there? I said 4-3 Skokie, and
Yep.
now they're
And the
shaking
match
hands
is
for
over.
Northmoor. So there you go again.
An incredible gut sense from Paget Neve, director here at Skokie Country Club. Paget, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us for this match. It was fun watching
Absolutely.
you play
Thank
and
you,
to have
guys.
you on stream. And I have a feeling that we'll be getting some feedback from the community to never let this happen again.
I think you're right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys.
Thanks a lot. Everybody have a good night. We will catch you next week for some more paddle action on the CPTC live stream.